Welcome to She Lives, where magic and mystery become the blueprint and path to creating a new reality, deeply rooted in the essence of your soul. Join me as we hear, feel, and see through lenses and senses of intuitive wisdom and soul-based leadership. This is the She Lives podcast. Episode 3. The Power of the Visionary Artist, Prophet and Witch. Hello, my name is Hazel Evans and this is the She Lives podcast. In this episode, you will join me as we dive into the visionary, the prophetry and the witchery. All of which are innate gifts and divine essence of creation itself, embodied in the body of a woman. She lives as a creatrix. Yes, let's discover the gifts, purpose and importance of being a visionary artist, a prophet or a witch. Creation is innately a feminine principle, so I am passionate to share this deeper journey with you. Let's dive in today. Let's uncover what has been hidden from you when you are led to believe that you are not creative, because everyone is created and therefore creative. It's an innate gift, and somewhere within you there is something lying dormant that is just waiting to be ignited. The visionary in you, the prophetry in you, the witchery in you. Yes, that's right. So we're going to dive into this today because let's consider for a moment, do you limit yourself to what you think an artist is or isn't? Because today we debunk some of the myths and origins around these for you to reclaim the artistry that is in you and the art that is you and what it is that you create that comes from you. So today I'm also going to bring in some extra resources, some books and recordings that have inspired me on my journey. And in the preparation for this podcast, I have discovered that there's so much on this topic that I'm probably going to have to do other podcasts about it. But today we're going to start that journey and uncover the first layers of these mysteries of the visionaries that I want to talk with you about. Let's discover the super force that it is of being a visionary artist, because visionary art comes from the source of creation. It comes from life force energy. It comes from the sexual, the sensual energy. It comes from that place of creation where there are infinite possibilities, and sometimes this manifests into human beings such as myself, who are not only artists but we are visionary artists. We are connecting to something that is beyond imagination. We are connecting into other realms that connect the past, the present and the future. And it's like we foretell what comes through in the lines, dots and marks that get revealed onto the pages that we write, that we draw, that are expressions of the multidimensionality that we live as visual artists, visionary artists, creative beings, and they come through in multimedia ways. This is why I've worked in such multimedia ways: singer, performer, illustrator, writer, etc., etc., etc. Working with clay, working with paper, working with all these different amazing things that are given as things to interpret and to interpret the spirit that lives within us. And to say thank you for life, actually. So, I want to ask you, did you know that being an artist could be the most powerful purpose on the planet? And we're going to dive into a bit more of this. So I don't just mean knocking out pieces of art in exchange for money. We need to consider the real value of what the real true artist is, because the true artistry lies in the vibration of love, because art is love. And this is where you can feel, hear, and see the vibration. It's not something that can be cheated. You know, you can tell when you see a piece of art and you resonate with it. You can read it. You can feel the coding that gets ignited within your body, within your cells, within your heart, your being, the whole of your body when you're resonating with this piece of writing or a drawing or a performance that you've seen. You resonate. And that is the vibration. And it is the vibration that is bringing something else in you alive. This is love. This is the connection to source and saying, yeah, I'm here and I'm creating with you. And this cannot be cheated, you know. You can tell. You can tell if things have just been knocked out for commoditization. You know, it's rampant everywhere in our culture. All over the world, the commoditization of art. And I need to go deeper into this, but today we're just going to start it off. So art, the true artistry, cannot be cheated. And this artistry is also in you. So I want to bring in the first quote of inspiration for you today. And it's from St. Hildegard von Bingen, the Holy Spirit as Sapientia, from the Wisdom Creatrix. Then creation recognized its creator in its own forms and appearances. For in the beginning, when God said, "Let it be," and it came to pass, the means and the matrix of creation was love, because all creation was formed through her, as in the twinkling of an eye. What would it be to get lost in creation? What would it be to delve into the realms of the soul, where we can see the lines and dots and marks written before our very eyes, in the visions we hold inside? So, why are visionary artists so important in this changing world? Let's go deeper into understanding the visionary artist. The visionary artist taps into deeper realms of consciousness and can see beyond the surface level of reality. They then take this information that they collect on their inner journeys and translate it into physical form through the mastery of their art, through the interpretation of the inside world, bringing it into form. And this is the artistry. We have the ability to delve deep into our innermost realms and access and decode the senses and feelings and create art through this portal of wisdom. I mean, how incredible is that, right? And our art challenges the status quo. It expands consciousness as it simultaneously reflects the world around us. So have a look and feel, where is this in you? Where do you recognize feelings and sensations that are happening in you, where you are reflecting the world that is happening around you? And how can you express that? How can you be heard, seen, and felt in this wisdom that comes from within you? Because I have always said that the same is on the inside as it is on the outside. And when I look back at my journey of being an artist, I can always see that I've been completely obsessed through everything that I've studied about what is going on in the inner worlds, the outer worlds, concealing and revealing, closing and opening. So how are you experiencing the world today? And what are you seeing? And then I'll also ask, what are you avoiding? Because There's things that perhaps we are avoiding that also get interpreted in perhaps non-loving ways, in the behaviors that we do and the behaviors that come out to other people. So have a look at that. What are you seeing and what are you avoiding? So us visionaries are perhaps a bit different from other artists because the work becomes your life. It is beyond a hobby, and it is all absorbing and becomes a map and a blueprint to the soul. And this is what I found my journey has been. It's been an absolute guidance throughout the whole of my life, and I'm going to go a bit more into that a bit later. So all of this is often expressed through multimedia art forms, as the visionaries are multidimensional by nature, traversing time, space and dimensions to collect the visions and data that we bring forth to share with the world. So we are the risk takers, the rule breakers, and the deep spiritual connection that takes us into the metaphysical realms of creation itself. This is straight from the source. This is the life force. These gifts can be applied to other areas of life. And this is why I really encourage everybody who works with me, like, where is your artistry? Where is your force of creation? Because you can apply these gifts. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a great artist, but you have to know that you are a creator. So you have the ability to create. And that could mean so many things. There's so many different ways of expressing that. So these gifts can be applied to other areas of life, such as I have done, to manifest projects, my career, my love life, my relations, my body, my money, everything that comes into life in the material way can be manifested through the visions. They talk about manifestation, and there's another way to access this incredible magic and wisdom, and that is through accessing the visionary artistry within yourself. So I notice when I read back through the pictures that I have drawn is that I have foretold big life changes that would happen in my life. So it's an interesting journey, to say the least. And this is why art is so powerful, and it holds profound keys to the wisdom of creation. It holds profound keys to the innate wisdom of what it means to be human. And this is why, for example, artists have often been put down or not been recognized, but also the great leaders and dictators of our time have used and manipulated art. Hitler, for example, closed down the Bauhaus movement and stole lots of art. Why? Because it's powerful. It's a powerful tool. It's a powerful shamanic tool when it comes straight from the source, straight from the visionary source of creation itself. So visionary artists are change makers. This is threatening. We are trailblazers because we are the voices of the soul. And when you tap into your innate wisdom, you become dangerous because you become unstoppable. Unstoppable, because the force of love is unstoppable. And that is what art is. So you may possess some of these qualities already. You may realize, wow, there's something that wants to birth through me. I don't know what it is. I need to be more creative. Yeah, these are all great signs. These are all great signs that you've got this ignition in you, like ready to be ignited into the power of creation. Because you are a change maker when you embrace your soul essence. So when you are met with challenges in life, and life is asking you to process and interpret them, this is where knowing the creative processes can really help you, because you can interpret these challenges that come into your life as lessons and allow the transformational process, the creative process, to help you recreate your reality, to overcome obstacles. And this is the way of art. It's manifesting change, and it's manifesting change for the greatest of good. Now, I know that there's a lot of distortions out there in the art field, and it's passed off as art, but I will defend to the end what the true meaning of art is. And that for me comes from the heart. That is the most powerful. And, everything has been stolen and commoditized and perverted through everything in the world right now. And it's our job as visionary artists who tap into the heart source to know that we can overcome anything, and we can use this power to create the transformation in our lives. So this is why artists thrive in times of crisis, because we are the black sheep. we are the ones who are outside of the box, and we are the ones who see the world through different lenses and senses, and are in constant flow with the universe and creative life force itself. So I'll ask you another question now. Have you stopped being creative? Is there something in your life? Is there someone or some people? Is there some job? Is there something that happened that has blocked your creative flow? Because this is an invitation to reconsider opening that dam again and letting the creativity, the life force flow through you once again, so that you can recreate yourself and your reality on a higher level based on love. So consider, how could any of these things be holding you back from getting to the next best version of you? Now, I'm not saying that everyone is a visionary artist, but there is something in it for everyone to learn from the visionaries, because somewhere in it there is a masterful creatrix within you, somehow, that is waiting to come out. Because when you access the masterful creatrix within you, you start living your soul purpose, and you start being an inspiration, not only for yourself, but for others. And this is beautiful. This is delivering the gift. And life starts to open up in a whole new way as you start creating a new, better reality today. So I have a quote from this beautiful book called The Return of the Feminine and the World Soul by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. And this book has been a life changer for me. I read it so many years ago, and it was a transmission. It was one of those books that I recognized, yes, this is right. And it resonated within me. This is a soulful writing. This is a visionary writing. So I want to share just a little piece of it with you right now. The feminine holds the mystery of creation. This simple and primordial truth is often overlooked. But at this time of global crisis, which also carries the seeds of global transformation, we need to reawaken to the spiritual power and potential of the feminine. Without the feminine, nothing can be born. Nothing new can come into existence. We will remain caught in the materialistic images of life that are polluting our planet and desecrating our souls. We see around us a world being destroyed by greed and consumerism, and feel within us a hunger for our soul, for a way of life that acknowledges the sacred within all of life. And deeper, there is the cry of the soul of the world, the primal cry that comes from the depths of creation, when the divine light that belongs to life is being lost. At this time, we need to reclaim what has been denied, what has been abandoned in the pursuit of our materialistic dreams. We need to return to the core of our being, to where the sacred comes into existence, and the mystical feminine holds the key to this work of redemption and transformation. So, transformation is the art of creation. And this is where we start understanding this weaving of creation, visionary, the feminine gift. All of that weaves in together. So then I'm going to further this a bit more and weave in the prophets and the witches. Are visionary artists prophets and witches? And what is the impact of visionary art upon this world, upon this crazy, crazy world? So, the impact of visionary art is profound on your life, on your relationships, on society, and beyond. Because we change perceptions of reality. We offer new ways of experiencing your senses and transport you into different realms. Change your reality and challenge the status quo, striving for a better world, because the true visionaries are grounded in love, because creation is love. And this is why we are dangerous. And this is why it's challenging to come out and share this voice from the deep. So the visionary art is inspiration to others to open their minds to think differently. And I remember growing up that people always said to me that I have something different about me. There's something different about you, Hazel, but I don't quite know what it is. Well, I've had my struggles with that in trying to fit in left, right and centre and conform and comply in all various different ways. And it's been a journey of coming to terms with my gift as a visionary artist, being part of it. So now I know. And, you know, there are many incredible visionary artists throughout time, and prophets and foretellers, etc., etc., etc. And some of them I just want to mention right now, the visual artists, but I know they come in, you know, writers and performers in many different forms. So ones that I really loved when I was growing up was in particular Dali. And when I look at the melting clocks, I look at, wow, like, yeah, time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. It's not linear. It's not a beginning and an end. It's ongoing. And our societal perceptions of time are very constraining. And I know when I first started listening about, oh yeah, time doesn't exist, I'm like, yeah, right. Like, but there's time and there's a day and there's night, and how could time not exist? But the further I've been delving into this and discovering that, it's like, yeah, okay, and yeah, Dali, he knew something. He drew the melting clocks. He prophesized the melting down of time. And now we could say, well, you know, this is actually coming true. This is being a prophet. Because the timelines are collapsing now. The old reality is collapsing, and realizing actually that, yeah, if we go into the past timelines and we connect to our future and we come into the present, we actually can collapse time, and we can realize, yeah, is time and the structure of time just built in order to keep us suppressed, to keep us conforming in certain ways? Well, you know, these are the kind of questions that come up. And Dali has been an incredible illustrator of these other ways of thinking. I also want to mention Frida Kahlo. And I think I never really resonated with her so much when I was studying art. But just these last few years, her spirit, let's say, has come to me and has been teaching me the essence of resurrection, because she in her life went through some very big suffering moments physically and mentally, and her art showed her progression of her inside realms on the outside world. And this again is an amazing demonstration of the visionary art. And also the beauty of art, the beauty in all that is changing and all that is moving, and the pain and the suffering that comes with that sometimes as well, you know. I mean, they often say that artists are tormented souls. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard living in this world sometimes when you can see and feel like immense possibilities of the divine consciousness of being with the universe, and then, you know, you kind of have to get a job and fit in and do all of that stuff, which I never did. But, you know, it's like, wow, I can't fit all of that into, you know, living in a box. This is why artists are so powerful, you know, because we know this stuff. So let's look at some other things. I just want to bring as well Gaudi, Barcelona. It was like he built temples. He built and he consecrated these places of beauty, these places of high energy. And there's other things to be said around temple art and places of spiritual resonance, you know. Even Stonehenge is a work of art, you know. So there's these places that connect spirit with the earth in these temple-like places, and sometimes epic artists such as Gaudi created these here. And you can also see it in the old architecture, which, you know, pyramids, for example, absolutely divine creations, visionary creations, yeah. Connecting our consciousness with the earth. So these artists, the visionary artists, remind us to recognize the resonance of the soul in everything that is being created by us and through us, and reminds us of who we innately are and the beauty of who we are, because every leaf is created, every animal is created. Everything that we see here has been created. And so that's something really big to think about as well. And where is the beauty? Where is the beauty and the alignment and the connection to nature in all of that still? So, because art is not just objects. I mean, it can be when it's commoditized, and I would say, for want of better words, abused when art is commoditized. Just like women, when they've been objectified and commoditized, it's exactly the same vibration, it's exactly the same thing, whether it be on a small scale or a big scale. But when we stay with the connection of this innate resonance of art and the soul, we stay with the beauty of life. And this is where, you know, we come into art being sacred tools and sacred portals. And whether that is through a shamanic tool that was created by the hands of a shaman, or whether it was a visionary artist creating an illustration, these are all sacred portals to offer you energy, resonance, vibration, coding, to reclaim pieces of your soul so that you can remember more of who you are. And this is true inspiration. True inspiration is what inspires you to be great, what inspires you to be magnificent, what inspires you to take that journey home to your heart. This is also the job of an oracle. I mean, you could say that visionary artists are also oracles, and I actually created a performance piece of art where I was performing as an oracle inside that, and I created my first little mini set of oracle cards. There was 5 of them, one for each of the elements, and people would come into the performance installation. I actually made a lot of people cry because they were just really touched by the love, I guess, and they were touched by the messages that I gave through the oracle cards. And this was an art performance, and I could see that it was my soul like foretelling me, telling me, guiding me who I am, remembering part of me and my soul that I was able to share with others. And that was beautiful to be able to do that. And I think it also created the foundations for the oracle deck that I'm creating at the moment. So you can also check out the links I will put below this podcast so you can connect and discover more about my work. And I will talk more about this, the making of the oracle, in other podcasts as well. I think I have a lot to talk about, don't I? A lot to share, a lot of inspiration. So what I want to share is another little quote from the book of The Return of the Feminine and the World Soul by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. And this is from the first chapter. Because humanity has a central function in the whole of creation, what we deny to ourselves, we deny to all of life. In denying the feminine her sacred power and purpose, we have impoverished life in ways we do not understand. We have denied life its sacred source of meaning and divine purpose, which was understood by the ancient priestesses. So, this is why priestesses, oracles, shamans, seers, visionaries are the leaders. And perhaps they haven't been given a world stage, but they will. And they are emerging and they are coming. They are the leaders of the new earth that is forming right now. So if you are looking for inspiration, look and feel around you. Who are the true visionaries? Who are the ones who are tapping into this higher vibration of energy that has been coming in, particularly through the cracking of the 2020? Because through that portal, other things started becoming available. Other energy started becoming available. And the visionaries, the priestesses, shamans, oracles, felt it. They heard it and they saw it. And these are the guides to come out of the matrix of suppression of our patriarchy and into the light of soul-based leadership. So look around you and tune in and feel, where is your heart leading you? Who do you want to learn from to take you to the next level? So let's continue, as unfortunately it's not all roses, not just yet anyway. Sometimes I have felt that being a visionary artist is a blessing and sometimes a curse, because feeling, hearing and seeing everything is not always easy and not always easy to navigate in this world. And yet I have learned that I cannot escape this gift, because every time I have tried, the grip of this soul purpose brings me back into alignment. If I have tried to run away into hiding, conforming, complying, I get some very harsh lessons and I have to come back into alignment. And that has been my journey, to come to terms with the gift of my soul. And if I'm not in alignment, that's where depression comes, that's where suppression comes. And that's when the blockages come, because this artistry needs to run freely through my veins. So I invite you that if you're feeling depressed or suppressed or blocked, where is the artistry in you that needs unblocking to course through your veins once again? So this is week 3 of my first season of podcasts, and I realised that I actually have opened up a whole new realm of magical project, because that's how I work as a visionary artist. And each week has a theme, and it is in itself a visionary art journey of 13 episodes, and it is already showing me the way, because I said yes to it, and it is showing me what I need to receive in teachings from each topic every week. So I am not coming to you telling you stuff. I'm sharing with you what has moved through me every time I come to this next subject that has been shown to me how I should be delivering this to you. It's like it's being in absolute service. So I invite you to join me each week on this journey, to share it with others and to let it grow and to be inspired. Let's be inspired together. So this week, how has this been affecting me, this journey of visionary art? Well, cleaning out the garage. I've been visiting old memories of when my art journey began, and this essentially has been throughout the whole of my life. And there's so much to talk about on all of this, and I'm really excited to be opening it up. So what I wanted to say is that, our journey can take us off on different courses, and sometimes we think, oh yeah, I need to be a successful artist by, in my 20s or whatever. But what I realized, because I remembered when I finished university, the first university I went to, when I finished that, I remember being in the third year and thinking, wow, I really want to write a story, but I don't have a story. There wasn't enough of my life yet to write a real story. And I knew that. And now I'm 40 something, I asked for a story. I asked, like in podcast number 1, I asked the universe to show me what love was, and it gave me a 10-year journey. And I also asked at university, I need a story because I want to write a story, I want to make real art. And life has given me that. So this is why I always talk about reading your own life story so that you become your greatest guide, because it has everything. It shows you everything of where you are, where you've been, and where you're going. So there is something to be said about you can recreate your life at any time, because in your 20s, you're still really young and you need a story, you need experience, you need maturity and mastery, and you need a passageway of time, even though I've said that time's an illusion, but you need some spiraling of seasons and some turning of the tables to happen, so that you know what you're really talking about. There's a really big difference between like the commoditization, let's say, of the music industry at the moment. These songs that are coming out, they're like, wow, okay, great, nice lyrics, sometimes not even nice lyrics anymore. It's like, what has happened? What has happened to the music industry where there's this innate connection to the soul? So you might say, well, yeah, there's been this commoditization of young people to make great products and, sell through the music industry, etc. And therefore there's been a severance of the connection to the soul. But when someone comes along and they are connected to the soul, you're like, hold on a minute, I resonate there. There's something there. And it's the soul that speaks. It's the soul that guides us, and it's this resonance. That's some je ne sais quoi that is within these things that we think, wow, that's really great, but I don't know what it is. But there's something great about that, and that's the soul. That's the soul speaking through the art. So I wanted to talk about this letting your dreams come alive at any age and honoring your life journey. And just because you didn't make it as a great artist at 20s, I listened to, gosh, you see, I'm listening, hearing and feeling everything, even if it's just writing a letter. So I read this letter, and that I found in the garage, and I realised I was in my 20s, and I had said, "Oh yeah, I'm just coming to terms with the fact that I'm not a great artist." And it's like, wow, this somehow life had taken me off this other course to get some lessons that I'm now reorientating back towards and going, yeah, actually I'm reclaiming that part of me, because that was not true, you know. And I think this is what I was saying in the other podcasts about being bullied and narcissism and narcissistic abuse, and also trying to fit into some kind of system that makes you not believe in yourself. So this is why I say, you know, even if you feel shut down in your artistry, you can always bring it back, always resurrect it. So sometimes art is taken at an early age. Sometimes it is commoditized to make money for the system, and therefore the innate gift is lost. The art, the prophecy, the magic is lost in order to make stuff or sell stuff, to commercialize stuff, and just to turn art into more stuff. Now, yes, we need to make money because that's in the society that we are at the moment. All of that is shifting at the moment. And this commoditization of products and objects and things, I'm not saying that I'm free of that, but I'm just saying it's really interesting to bring awareness to that, where these sacred gifts of art have been commoditized. And perhaps sometimes, you know, I think sometimes, you know, this comes from my woundings, my innate core woundings of not being good enough, and my art not being good enough, and constantly needing to produce more art. And is this painting good enough now? Is this drawing good enough now? And coming to terms with the fact that yes, it's always been good enough, but sometimes the system with their marketing and selling doesn't recognize your soul, and that doesn't mean that you're not good enough. So make your work your passion and never give up on your dreams, because the soul of your voice is really important, and your voice and your expression, and how you can then turn that more internally into you. You know, you can work with your art. Let your art show you the way. Let your art show you, what are you drawing? What are you writing? Because it shows you your shadows. And again, we can see this, you know, how is what is happening on your inside world being displayed on your outside world? Now, often you can see this in expressions, for example, in music, the vibration of music, like I said, the pictures that are being drawn, the writing that's been written. Is it coming from a place of pain? Because everything that shows us expressions of pain shows us where people are suffering. So, you know, if there's lots of pictures of death or perversion or all these different types of destruction, that shows where you are suffering. That shows where other people are suffering. And that is a really interesting thing to think about. I too have created in the past paintings where I was showing this body of me trapped in the mountains. And this was when I was in my first narcissistic abusive marriage, and I felt completely trapped where I was. And I didn't know at the time that I was prophesizing, you know, what was happening, but I was painting it and it was coming out. So if you want to start unleashing and unwrapping, unchaining yourself from whatever it is that you're struggling with right now, get the pen and paper out and just put some expression onto the page and let it show you what's happening. Because this way you can create a new reality, and you can find a way through the difficulties to connect with another level of your soul. You know, even if you're going through the dark night of the soul, which might take several years, you will be connecting into how the healing wants to take place. And this is one of the jobs, you know, this is one of the jobs of the the visionary artist, the priestess, the shaman, the oracle, is to create space for healing. And when that is created, is joining again once the energy of the cosmos with the earth, the mother earth and father sky. It is in itself a journey into divine union with yourself through the portal of art. Now, however you express yourself, however you recreate yourself, it can be any way you like. You can make your clothes, you can make your skincare products, you can make pictures and stories, you can dance and sing. Let it all come from you. Take time out of the system to allow your self-expression to come back in. And this is where I'm just going to bring a little bit in about AI, because don't let AI or the misuse of technology take these innate skills away from you. Because when you move into creation, it will guide you back to a greater remembering of who you are and a greater level of power that comes from within you that you don't need anybody else for. So embracing the artist in you will lead you to your sovereign home within. And this is how important it is. This is how important it is to return to your heart, because this is where the art starts. So it's never too late to make your dreams come true, but you have to be prepared to go inside. And that is challenging, let's say, because sometimes we can feel it and we want to avoid it. And that's where toxic shame avoidance starts happening. And the avoidance is then born into various forms of distorted behaviors. So I encourage you, if you're feeling some tension right now, go inside, draw it out, write it out. So being a visionary can feel scary to some, and whether that comes across as, visiting a psychic or an oracle or a priestess or a shaman, that can be pretty scary, because there's a vibration of truth that, particularly when we've gone through a lot of suffering, we can see through our feelings. So it's scary to some and admired by others, because we connect to the past, the present, and the future. And when you desire change, you have to go inside. You have to go inside, because this is where you get the wisdom from. And going inside can be a dangerous place to gather the tools, because often it's where you are given a choice. Are you choosing for supporting your ego more, or are you going in to find out how to choose for love more? And this is the mastery of the art of you and your heart. And when you go inside and you start shamanic journeying or meditating or seeing what you want to draw and put onto the page, free writing, free drawing, just dare to trust your visions and take heed upon their wisdom as guidance, and not just dismiss it as your imagination, because this self-gaslighting can be very detrimental to the soul. So everything that you create, just let it be and let it emerge, and then take another piece of paper at another time and take the next step. Every piece of paper, every expression, every piece of clothing you make, or every cake you bake is bringing you closer to you. So it's not just your imagination, but it can be wild. It can be wild like the forest, and I'm going to be talking more about the forest and the wilderness in the next episode. And that's that inner visionary forest within yourself can be a pretty scary place. But it is also enchanting. It's your own sacred wilderness, and it's your power of innate creation. Language and symbols of another world, where the very expression of our hearts are marked behind us and before before us. Life turned into art, the art of life. Life as art, the art of the heart, guiding our way as we delve deep into the mysterious world of the forest. To dare to get lost, dare to transform, surrender to the mystery, the magic, to breathe again in enchantment. Let's move on to the prophet and the witch. Visiting my life and journey as a visionary got me thinking about the suppression, oppression, and commoditization of art, the suppression of the voice, the true prophet, the suppression of the craft, the true medicine woman, the witch, and how these voices and crafts have been not only suppressed, but those who hold these gifts accused of being mad, crazy, insane. It's just in your imagination. Anything to take down and make small, to hide and to kill. The power of creation, the magic, and the incredible wisdom that is in that. Now, this can also be seen in this current reality as saying things like, oh, it's false news, it's a conspiracy. But I want to invite you just to think about that for a moment, because there are people who feel and hear and see just as the old prophets and witches. They are not of just the old times. They live among us now. Like I said, these are the new leaders emerging, and you can feel them with the vibration of your heart. So I want to just talk a little bit about, well, where has this suppression of the prophet and the witch happened before, and where is it happening now? And to lend our attention a little bit to AI. So I want to ask, is AI a modern day witch hunt to try to take the mastery of creation even more further away from people, to suppress them and their talents even more? Is it in fact another technological great idea that is absolute insanity, artificial, yes, intelligent, perhaps not so? Is it contributing towards the demise of our innate intelligence, giving us artificial intelligence? Because if we cannot use technology wisely and for the greatest of good, is that really intelligence, or is it absolute insanity? Do they want us to forget our innate intelligence, which enables us to access universal consciousness like the prophets and the witches, the shamans and the priestesses? This innate intelligence that is within our blood, we know. So do they want us to forget our innate intelligence, which enables us to access this universal consciousness? We don't need any chips or programs or technology inserted into the body, because we are the innate universal technology. We are the innate universal technology. And I can vouch for this from my journey into the seeing and the being and the expressions of what is available when we surrender into something greater than ourselves, that comes from nature and the universe itself. Through meditation, through plant medicine, through shamanic journeys, etc., etc., etc. So these things are real. They have not been created by anything other than the universe itself. So we are absolute divine intelligence. We are absolute intelligence instead of absolute insanity. And there is nothing artificial needed here. So are we being cut off from our source of innate intelligence, from the AI, from the technology that creates solutions to the problems that it created? The pollution within our fabrics, our lotions, our everything that we use. This is perhaps absolute insanity. And how can we create a new reality that comes out of this? And what does this have to do with visual arts? Well, we prophesized this. Orwell spoke about this in his writings, and perhaps he prophesies what is coming true now. So it's important to pay attention to those who know, those creators who know, those artists, those wisdom people who kind of rock the status quo a little bit. So we need to perhaps come into greater alignment with what is true and what is not true. And that, the great judgment teller, is what resonates with the heart. Because anything that wants power over is absolute insanity. What wants to destroy and pollute and kill anything that is part of nature is not in alignment with creation. It's in alignment with destruction. So just ask yourself, we're all participating in this because we've been born into it. What have you been destroying, and how can you move that energy into creation now? So there's some important perspectives to consider here, and how this relates to you and what you can do to reclaim your pure artistry of your soul. That will be your greatest guide in life. So that prophetry, that witchery in you, the medicine woman, the shaman, the from the purest sense of tapping into that innate wisdom that lies within your blood, that is your artistry, that is the visions that want to come through to show you the way. How can you become your greatest guide in life? So this is why I'm moving on to this next part, because in hindering the voice and the gifts of creation gets me thinking about the power of creation and the suppression. And the suppression of it actually aligns with the witch hunts. The witches being burned and drowned and suppressed and killed and laughed at and scapegoated and gaslit, just like is happening now with those who are coming out and speaking the truth. It is the same. History repeats itself. The prophets, the witches, the visionaries, they spoke about this. History repeats itself. So how can we change for the good that is in alignment with the true connection of our souls with Earth? So it is perhaps the same that's happening now with the witch hunts, the truth speakers. Yes. How many people are closing their eyes and choosing not to see, not to feel, and not to hear the truth? And like I said, there's a radar of truth, a bullshitometer, which can say and feel whether it's true or not. Because like I said, either it's destroying or it's creating, and you will know and you can feel. This is why igniting your inner tuition, your inner guidance, your inner vision, the visionary within you is what is needed right now, in order for you to change and make your life better, but also, like I said, to inspire others. And this, my friends, is the beauty of life. We come into the beauty of life. And even though our heritage, even in England here, I can see that our innate peoples, our indigenous peoples, They were taken, and this is what is happening now also across the world. It's been going on for centuries. But we also had an indigenous heritage here in England and in Europe and in everywhere that has been modernized, let's say. We also had our innate heritage here. And it is available. It is available through nature, through the trees, the rocks, the stones, the flowers, through the earth, the air, the fire, the water. It is here, and you can read it. You can read it as a prophet, as a witch, as an oracle. And we are here, and we will never die, because love never dies, and creation never dies. And how about we just lend ourselves a little bit more to our artistry to create a bit of a better reality. And I'd like to say that I've been speaking a lot about the feminine principles in all of this, but it's not just about the feminine. Those who know me know that I've been on a very strong journey with men as well. And for all of those men who stick by us, big shout out to you all, and who stick by us in the feminine principles of love and creation that want to come forth now in this time to lead the way. And I also know that there's a strong Me Too movement opening up these energies, but also there's distortions in all of this. This is why I say that love is really the radar, because sometimes movements like this also turn into the man witch hunting, the man witch burning, and there were men who were also taken down in this energy. So those men who are sticking by the truth of love, big shout out to you too, and thank you for supporting. Because it's not just women who know, men also know. And there's also women who don't know, and they're also in their suffering, not knowing how to feel their bodies, being cut off from their energy of innate wisdom, and not knowing this energy of persecution, and therefore pointing fingers at men. It's such a mess. It's such a mess at the moment, and this is why pay attention to the visionaries, because they show the way, and they can show how to untangle and burn the dark webs and create new beautiful cosmic creator webs of capturing the light, let's say. So because of all this persecution and this denial of innate visionary gifts, we are persecuted through the programming to forget who we truly are. And we are incredible humans of power, of universal and earthly power. So because of the persecution of the prophetry, the witchery and the visionary, I'd like to just bring in another little reference that I have here. A couple of years ago, I visited the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle in Cornwall, the UK, and I picked up this little booklet, and it's called The Persecution of Witchcraft and Magic. And this is, in this little booklet, on the front cover, there's an iron covering across this doll's head from the museum, representing a woman who was bridled to keep her shut. So this is about bringing the voice of the visionaries alive again, that the witch hunt wants to keep the truth of love hidden, so let's bring it out. This is where the keeping quiet of the women happened in these witch hunts, and they were kept in these shanks and bridles and scolded and humiliated. They also talk about the persecution of the body, so keeping them locked up in shackles, but also thumb screws. And I was just reading through this earlier, and I thought, wow, not only are they, we learn from history they wanted to suppress the voice of creation within woman by keeping her mouth shut, and also destroying the thumbs, in the thumb screws. And it's so violently disgusting, hurting the hands of creation, those who want to create with their hands for the greatest of good. So let us bring forth the power of creation. Let us make things again once from our hands. Do not give the power away to all of AI and technology. It's taking away your innate opportunity for you to connect to you. And yes, yes, technology is good, but how about we use it in a really good way? And in a way which enables us to tap into ways of making life easier without severing us from our wisdom. So from this little book, I was rather shocking. I thought I would just share on page 9 from the Persecution of Witchcraft, but from the Witchcraft and Magic Museum in Boscastle. Dr. Johnson probably spoke the view of the majority when he said, "I am very fond of ladies. I like their beauty, I like their delicacy, and I like their silence." The ideal of the quiet woman can be found in the 18th century ballads, such as this one. A woman should like echo true, speak when she's spoken to, but not like echo, still be heard, contending for the final word. So to all of those women who were silenced, to all of those women who were not allowed to speak their truth, let us in this lifetime be the final word and give you voice once again to say that we hear you, we're here. Our ancestors, you are with us, coming forth to create this new reality together. So, where is this legacy of persecution still being played out today across the world, and also inside of you? How do you suppress you? How do you suppress your creative powers? And this is where you start accessing this level of self-leadership, self-guidance, driven by your own innate wisdom. Now, the thing is with all of this is if you apply rationale and logic, you will kill the vision and you will kill the great mystery of creation itself within you. Just like I said earlier, if you're creating something and you're not used to drawing or writing, and then you think, oh no, my God, that's really rubbish. I can't draw, I can't draw, I can't dance, I can't write, whatever it is. You're killing that power already, because you're applying some kind of logic that has been programmed into you to say it's not good enough because, I don't know, you drew a cat with floppy ears that looked like a rabbit or something, so, but maybe that was the vision you had. And what visions do you have? And then how do you read your art? How do you read the writing? How do you read that which you've created as a powerful blueprint to guide you in your life? So herein lies another powerful tool of self-love. Whatever you're creating, do not apply logic and rationale to it, because you will destroy that vision that wants to come through. You will destroy that inner guidance that wants to show you the way. So this is why I'm talking about, are you choosing for creation or destruction? And creation is beautiful in every way. And allow the beauty of your creations to come through, even if they're at the moment, if they're in like difficult things that want to be seen. Read them, let them come out through your art instead of being perhaps projected onto others, or in distortions of behavior or however it might come out. So, let the beauty come out and let it express through the passion of your heart. And I'm going to finish this podcast soon, but I asked my partner if he had any contributions or anything that I should include in this podcast. And he said, first of all, that women are incomprehensible to men because women communicate through the art of the heart. Men cannot understand the concept of art and instead label women as insane, crazy, mad for showing their gift of art, witchery or shamanism. So I know that there's men and women out there who are really vouching for and fighting for and standing in love and creation, and that's beautiful. Now, this week with my partner, we were talking about this podcast because the whole thing is a visionary journey, and I recorded some of what we were talking about. So I'm just going to share a little bit of that recording with you now as we get rather deep and passionate into this subject of the visionary art, the prophet and the witch.
The insanity is the judgment of the misunderstanding, the incomprehension of your power. It's the incomprehension of art. So it's not insane, it's not crazy, it's just incomprehensible. And that's why men say they can't understand women. Art is alchemy, agreed. But art is alchemy of the masculine and the feminine because art is love.
Yeah. And I think this is what I've been trying to naturally do, and this is what my art projects do. So I've got 11 weeks left of my podcast. Every week is going to give me messages that I need. But evidently, the magic that I've created by saying yes to this, actually, my album wrote it years ago, exactly for this time and this moment.
When I look at my journey, my life, I feel, hear and see. I see my name, Hazel Evans, and the journey that is me. My initials, H.E. I am a visionary. I am an artist. Hazel Evans Art. H.E. Art. Heart. I create from the heart. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast today. May you live your magnificence today and beyond. Lots of love and see you soon for another episode of She Lives.